The U.S. Navy's Pacific Fleet has drawn up a classified proposal to carry out a global show of force as a warning to China and to demonstrate the U.S. is prepared to deter and counter their military actions, according to several U.S. defense officials. The draft proposal from the Navy is recommending the U.S. Pacific Fleet conduct a series of operations during a single week in November. The goal is to carry out a highly focused and concentrated set of exercises involving U.S. warships, combat aircraft, and troops to demonstrate that the U.S. can counter potential adversaries quickly on several fronts. The plan suggests sailing ships and flying aircraft near China's territorial waters in the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait and freedom of navigation operations to demonstrate the right of free passage in international waters. The proposal means U.S. ships and aircraft would operate close to Chinese forces. The defense officials emphasize that there is no intention to engage in combat with China. While the U.S. military carries out these types of operations throughout the year, the proposal being circulated calls for several missions to take place in just a few days. While one official described it as just an ideal, it is far enough along that there is classification operational name attached to the proposal, which is circulating at several levels of the military. Officials would not confirm the name of the potential operation. Now, U.S. officials acknowledge China often sees these missions as provocations. They also acknowledge that the intelligence community would have to weigh in with any concerns about reaction from China. Now, the Pentagon refused to acknowledge or comment on the proposal. As the Secretary of Defense has said on countless occasions, "We don't comment on future operations of any kind," said Lieutenant Colonel David Eastburn. The U.S. Pacific Fleet also refused to comment on it. Now, word of this U.S. Navy proposal comes just days after what the Pentagon has called an unsafe encounter between U.S. and Chinese destroyers in the South China Sea. Currently, the aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman is taking the unexpected step of operating in the North Sea, sending a signal to Russia that U.S. military forces can extend their reach to that area as well. Late last week, U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis pulled out of a planned visit to Beijing later in October. Mattis had originally planned to visit the Chinese capital to meet with senior Chinese officials to discuss security issues. The last-minute cancellation of the unannounced trip has not been publicly confirmed by the Pentagon. Earlier in the week, the Chinese government canceled a port visit to Hong Kong by the USS Wasp, a U.S. Navy amphibious assault ship. Following the cancellation, the U.S. Navy released a series of photos showing troops aboard the 40,000-ton Wasp taking part in a live fire exercise in the South China Sea. Also last week, the U.S. flew B-52 bombers over the South China Sea and East China Sea. What do you think? Should the United States carry out multiple missions at one time in just a few days to send a direct message or warning to China? Leave your comments below this video. Thanks for watching.